Hey everybody, we're back again, the Coon Prairie Ramblers, confabulating and mind meandering on all kinds of things. We got Casey and the Moonshine Gang, Luke, the rebel without a clue, and me, the sweet, innocent mailman.
Ooh. Sweet and innocent. Now let's take a vote on that.
I don't know who told you all that.
I'm telling you, boy, he laid it on thick.
Well, according to my wife, I'm Sweet Thing.
Oh, Sweet Thing.
Has anybody here seen
Sweet Thing?
Yeah, and Lover Boy. I'm called Lover Boy, too.
Oh, we're getting into the information I didn't need to.
Yeah, no, you know, that's not. I thought we were going to talk about grandparents, not lover boys.
Grandparents.
Well, you know, you got to start somewhere.
Grandpa Lover Boy.
Yeah, Lover Boy turns into Grandpa.
Oh, boy, I'm getting pictures now. We better move
I know.
This past week this past Sunday was Grandparents' Day. I think we would be remiss if we didn't talk about grandparents, maybe how we feel about being one, and maybe later on, about our own grandparents and stuff like that.
Well, you know, I miss I didn't have that many grandparents.
We're only supposed to get about 4. But.
You had 4.
Well, actually,
at one time.
That's right.
What happened was I never knew them. I knew my mother's mother, and I met my mother's father. That's my grandpa. But they were divorced way back in like the 1920s. You know, way back there. So my grandpa lived in West Virginia, and actually I only met him a couple times. And the last time I met him, he was into dementia. He didn't even know I was there.
You were there, but he wasn't.
Yeah, but I knew my mom's mom, and she was born in 1897. Fortunately, I spent some time with her and her sister Aggie. I used to spend summers, one summer with Aggie, one summer with Grandma, like that. That was a lot of fun. I miss them not being, because, all my family's gone, and I have nobody to refer to, if I want to say, well, when did that happen?
Right.
Did we do that? I'm thinking, well, I'll go ask. I ain't got nobody to go ask.
You're right.
Make it up. Yeah. Make it up. That's
the
purpose of confabulating.
Yeah.
Nobody can deny it.
I have a grandpa that I never met. Is my father's father, and his name was Grover Cleveland Jackson.
What did he was named for?
I think it was Grover Cleveland. And I had another grandfather who was long gone before I ever came around. I mean, like a great-grandfather. His name was George Washington Waits.
George Washington Waits for no man.
Yeah, in fact, I just found a picture last night of George Washington Waits and his wife. Ooh. The Waits, yeah. Other than that.
Was his wife Helen?
Helen Waits? No, it'd be George. It would be Martha, right?
Oh, Martha.
No, I don't. In fact, I ain't got nobody to ask. I don't know what her name was now.
Make it up. You know what? Pick out one you like.
That's right.
And make it up.
Yeah. Then my other great-great-grandfather was Napoleon.
Bonaparte?
The one and only. He's making it up now.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, that'd be pretty neat, huh?
Good advice. Well,
hey, that'd be a good what if. Would be a good.
Pick your own ancestors.
Yeah. Chakajawiga.
You do. If you do, you're going to clean it up.
Now, I do have a couple grandmothers that are Indian grandmothers. My mother's grandmother, they say she was Indian. She looked Indian, but nobody knows what she was because in those days you didn't talk about it much. That wasn't advertised. It wasn't a good thing. Back in I guess I don't know.
You need to get on Ancestry.com
I should, but I'm always afraid of being taken.
Have your DNA tested?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I should do that. And I was when I was writing my book about running away, I had talked to my father's, the only sibling left. She lived in Oregon. And she sent me a picture of a 5-generational picture. In that, the 5th generation was this little old lady sitting on a stump. It was 5 people standing, And I said, Aunt Alice, that lady looks like a little Indian lady. And she said, what is? She says, her name is Alice. I said, well, that's not an Indian. She said, Alice Wilson.
Wilson, wait a minute now. You ain't kin to me, are you?
She said, well, Alice Wilson was a Wyandotte. I'm from Ohio, and the Wyandotte tribe was in Ohio, which is related to the Huron. And she said she was an Indian, and she got adopted by the Wilson family and grew up with the Wilson family.
Oh, so y'all are relatives.
Yeah, exactly. I might have some Indian in me then, if that's the case.
Yeah. Yeah, we might be kissing cousins, Luke.
I don't think so. Be after the fight, all I got to say.
Oh my!
I don't think so.
But that's the extent of. I just don't have that. It's not there. I mean, you know, I didn't have the relationship because of my father being a polygamist or you know being married to this lady and this lady at the same time. You know, and
At least you wasn't a Mormon and you had like 500 brothers and sisters.
oh yeah. So yeah, there's no history there. I mean, I've got history, but I just didn't have it. I didn't experience it with any grandparents except for my mother's mother.
Nobody wrote it down.
Nope.
Unfortunately. How about you, Casey? What do you remember about your grandparents?
Well, I remember more about my Carlton grandparents than I do my Martin grandparents. They were out in Oklahoma, and I only really ever saw them 2 or 3 times for like a week at a time. I never really, I mean, I felt, you know, kind of close to them just, I guess, because of the fact they're your grandparents, but I never really saw them. But here, you know, I saw my grandparents here all the time, and my one grandmother is my father's real mother died when he was only 5 years old.
Oh.
And then after that, about like 5 years later, my grandfather remarried to a lady that was a school marm. Her name was Eben Kemp, and she went by Eben. When my older cousin got old enough to start talking and all, I guess he heard people calling her Eben or whatever, and he tried to say it, and he ended up calling her Eenie, Eenie, Meenie, Miny, Mo.
Eenie, okay.
And that stuck as her as her name to her grandchildren. And so when I came along, I started calling her Eenie, and we all called her Eenie.
Wow.
She was the only grandmother I ever knew here, but I mean, she was just like any other grandmother to me. But my grandfather, he was Papa, which I always like that name for grandfather. I think it's just a real good, solid, Southern-sounding name to me. I mean,
It's a solid name.
And somehow I got to be, to my grandchildren, Pops, which I don't like. It sounds almost like a disrespectful name or something,
Pops.
but it was some.
You hear teenagers and
Yeah.
thugs addressing old people,
Right,
guys as
Pops.
Pops.
Yeah, and I just
Give me your wallet, Pops.
Yeah, I don't like it. But so anyhow, I got stuck with that. But and then along come my youngest granddaughter, not my youngest grandchild, but my youngest granddaughter, and somehow she started calling me Poppy, like the Spanish version. You know, the Spanish enduring term for a father.
You like
And
that
so
better?
she called, yeah, I love Poppy. I like it. It sounds more personal, more
More
it
warm,
sounds
warm and friendly.
warm, right? Exactly.
Poppies.
And so I started going by Poppy, and I never really knew how to spell it, so I just spelled it the way the
Like the
Spanish would, P-A-P-I. So I am Poppy, and I'm Pops.
Poppy, Poppy.
I tried to talk the rest of them into calling me Poppy, but I guess they're so
Hadn't took so far.
stuck in what they are used to saying that they won't.
Wow.
They won't do it.
That's pretty good. Well, we're going to have
What
to come
about
back.
you? Who are you?
We're going to come back for the next segment here. Just a few
Oh,
seconds. or
we just
whatever.
burned through that one, didn't we?
Flew right by. So hang on to your hats, and we'll be back in short.